get to that guy if I wish to change the world. So I gave him a rubber balloon and I rubbed it with fur and I put cornflakes in his hand and told him to hold him away from the balloon. Those of you that don't know this, if you rub a balloon with fur or rub it fast, you generate static electricity and that'll suck the cornflakes up to the balloon. So all the cornflakes jumped out of his hand up to the balloon and his jaw hit the pavement. He said, "World he magnet?" I said, "Yes." Then he explained that to all the other Arabs. In an hour and a half, they accepted the fact that the earth was round. Then I took a few of those Arabs to an airport. They'd never seen an airplane. And they turned to Elbaz, who was their leader. They said, why for? They put the fan in front of the aeroplane. The fan meaning the propeller. Elbaz said, the aeroplane go up near to the sun, it gets hot, so they put the fan in front. Now he was using his background. There's nothing wrong with him. Nobody ever does anything wrong, by the way. They use whatever knowledge they have. If the knowledge doesn't fit reality, they suffer. So no one ever makes a mistake. The first guy that played around with nitric acid and glycerin, the building disappeared, so did the guy. And his brother-in-law wrote, "Never fool with that stuff." The first guy that wanted to fly built 2 sets of wings, 3 feet on each side. He jumped off the Eiffel Tower and he died. And his brother-in-law wrote, "Make wings larger next time." Where do you think it comes from? No one ever makes a mistake. How are they going to know? Yes.
I was just wondering, when you see your vision of the future, it made me think about, because the lack of presence of police and army and so on in prisons.
Only during the transition.
Yes, but it made me think about what William Burroughs once wrote. He wrote that a true police state doesn't need any police, because people are policing themselves. Is that what you are thinking about?
Well, I don't quite understand the question.
I'm asking, is this the fulfillment of a total police state in a way?
The city that I showed you here is transitional. There's no final cities. Everything I make and build, I always change next month, next year. There's no final frontiers. And everything I work on is all transitional. So everything you saw on that screen is not where the future is going to be. If they use a city I designed, the kids of the future, that would be a straitjacket to them. They'll design their own cities. See, but if you make a statue of Fresco and put it there and say he designed these cities, you hold people back. There are no great men in the future. There are no beauty contests. There's nothing like that in the future. Because everybody works on the world to make it better, and they're all received as friends. Because there's nobody out there to take anything away from you.
But how adaptable is your vision of the future with human nature?
Very good.
Because, you said everybody will be functional inhabitants in the city, contributing.
Context.
But what about people who doesn't want to take part, who doesn't want to participate?
Very good.
Yes.
The countries that don't want to join, let's say many countries join, but some won't join this universal world project. This is true. But they're on their own. They don't get the advantages of the cooperative group. So if there's a group like the Amish people that want to live their own group, their own lifestyle. They don't want to live in our city. They want to live out in the country with their own projects. We'll put up the buildings for them, design the buildings for them, design the food production systems for them if they want us to. But we don't control them. Now, if they say, we don't like your materials, we want wood, we like wood, then if it catches fire, it's your problem. Do you understand? If you want to go the old way, if you don't want to take everything we design in buildings, your mattresses will be inflated with CO2 gas. So if you happen to smoke and drop a cigarette on it, it puts it out. But if you want to go ahead the old way, that's up to you. You're responsible for it. But you don't live in our cities. Our cities have no fire engines, no police, no prisons, because everything designed in the city is fireproof. And you don't have signs, drive carefully, school district, 15 miles an hour. The power output in that region to your car is 15 miles an hour. so you can step on the gas all you want to. All your car does is 15 miles an hour. Then there are signs today that say, drive carefully, school children crossing. Well, we have a pavement that looks like two combs. When the kid presses a button across the street, the pavement turns up like that, so no car can hit a kid. Do you understand what I'm getting at? Not a sign, be nice, be kind, be careful. No, you build it in the city system. If your blood vessels dependent on you, you want to go upstairs, you speed up your heart. You go upstairs. That's what an automobile is like today. They're very dumb. Automobiles that have no intelligence at all. If your car veers to the right, either your tire air pressure is uneven or something's wrong with the steering wheel. But when a human being goes wrong, they put him in jail. There's something in the environment that made him that way. Well, what kind of environment would make a serial killer? There was a doctor named Worthy. Most of you never heard of him. He wrote a book called Show of Violence, showing what makes these people the way they are. And here's what they found out about, same thing as Jeffrey Dahmer. You know who Jeffrey Dahmer was? He's a guy they cut off heads, put them in the refrigerator, ate them, went to bars, got another guy to come up to his apartment, he put drugs in their drink, and they'd pass out, then he'd cut them up. Now, they said, what's the matter with this guy? Nothing's the matter with him. He was brought up in an environment that was warped. Now, let me explain that to you. When he was about 3 years old, 4 years old to be exact, perhaps a little older, he was touching his private parts. His mother was an old-time Baptist. He said, you were to burn in hell touching that part of your body. And that kid began to tremble. You burn eternally. You'll get the worst of Satan's treatment. And the kid was scared. And the mother said at 2 in the morning he was screaming. And she came in the room, he stuck needles into his genitals because he didn't want to go to hell. And he used to take minority kids into the woods and try to cut their genitals off to keep them from going to hell. What do you think they do when we get mad at the Japanese? They show you Japanese with crooked teeth, bayoneting a pregnant woman and pulling the bayonet up. Enlistment goes up 75%. You have to show them as evil people to get enlistment high. So that's all you do is you run movies and show Japanese gang raping a white woman in Samoa, wherever the hell. But they do that, and Japanese are just like us. Some are good, some are evil, some commit crimes more so. They're not that different. People aren't that different. You have the same kind of crimes all over the world. But what makes them that way? That's what this doctor wanted to know, so he can raise people without that type of experience so they don't become what you call aberrant in their behavior. Aberrant behavior is generated. Now, I can't think of the guy's name immediately, but, Jeffrey Dahmer. He used to, when he was a kid, he was a loner. And he'd pick up animals that were run over by a Mack truck. That was exciting to him. You know, there's some kids around 13 that know nothing about sex, and the building catches fire. It's so exciting they have an orgasm. And so they create fire to have an orgasm. And some men are brought up, like I said, in the South Pacific Islands, everybody walked around nude. That's 65 years ago when I was there. I don't know what it's like today, too emotive. And I never saw a native stare at a female's body that was brought up where everybody walked around nude. They swam nude when they were little kids. So looking at a female body had no meaning at all. They look at the girl's eyes when they talk. In this country, or any civilized world, so they're always looking at the tits, the butt, the belly, the legs, because the camera in Hollywood moves in on the cleavage line, you know. Then it moves on a girl walking. And you say, well, you know how men are. That isn't how they are. That's how they're made by this culture. So when guys say, hey, get a load of that chick, they're talking about their culture. If you're brought up in the South Pacific Islands, nobody ever said, hey, get a load of that. Because they've seen nude women just every day. So it meant nothing. And you try to sell them a picture, a book with pictures of nude women, they say, well, what do I want with that? Do you understand that? So all of your attitudes are shaped by culture. And don't look at men as bad or good. That's the way they're brought up. Okay? Now, there are some men that become excited if women are wearing underthings.